In ufology, conspiracy theory, science fiction, and comic book stories, claims or stories have circulated linking UFOs to Nazi Germany. The German UFO theories describe supposedly successful attempts to develop advanced aircraft or spacecraft prior to and during World War II, and further assert the post-war survival of these craft in secret underground bases in Antarctica, South America, or the United States, along with their creators. According to the limited available information on the UFOs, various potential code names or subclassifications of Nazi UFO craft such as Rundflugzeug, Führerball, Disques, Hornberg Jerry, V7 have all been referenced. Accounts appear as early as 1950, likely inspired by historical German development of specialized engines such as Victor Schauberger's Repulsine around the time of World War II. Elements of these claims have been widely incorporated into various works of fictional and purportedly non-fictional media, including video games and documentaries, often mixed with more substantiated information. German UFO literature very often conforms largely to documented history on the following points. The Third Reich claimed the territory of New Swabia in Antarctica, sent an expedition there in 1938, and planned others. The Third Reich conducted research into advanced propulsion technology, including rocketry, Victor Schauberger's engine research, flying wing aircraft, and Arthur Sacka S-6 experimental circular winged aircraft. Some UFO sightings during World War II, particularly those known as Foo Fighters, were thought by the Allies to be prototype enemy aircraft designed to harass Allied aircraft through electromagnetic disruption, a technology similar to today's electromagnetic pulse weapons. In World War II, the so-called Foo Fighters, a variety of unusual and anomalous aerial phenomena, were witnessed by both Axis and Allied personnel. While some Foo Fighter reports were dismissed as the misperceptions of troops in the heat of combat, others were taken seriously, and leading scientists such as Luis Alvarez to investigate them. In at least some cases, Allied intelligence and commanders suspected that Foo Fighters reported in the European theater represented advanced German aircraft or weapons, particularly given that Germans had already developed such technological innovations such as V-1 and V-2 rockets and the first jet engine fighter planes, and that a minority of Foo Fighters seemed to have inflicted damage to Allied aircraft. Similar sentiments regarding German technology resurfaced in 1947 with the first wave of flying saucer reports after Kenneth Arnold's widely reported close encounter with 9 crescent-shaped objects moving at high velocity. Personnel of Project Sign, the first U.S. Air Force investigation group, noted that the advanced flying wing aeronautical designs of the German Horten brothers were similar to some UFO reports. In 1959, Captain Edward J. Ruppelt, the first head of Project Blue Book, wrote, "When World War II ended, the Germans had several radical types of aircraft and guided missiles under development. The majority were in the most preliminary stages, but they were the only known craft that could even approach the performance of objects reported by UFO observers." While these early speculations and reports were limited primarily to military personnel, the earliest assertion of German flying saucers in the mass media appears to have been an article which appeared in the Italian newspaper Giornale d'Italia in 1950, written by Professor Giuseppe Baluzzo, an Italian scientist and a former Italian Minister of National Economy under the Mussolini regime. It claimed that types of flying discs were designed and studied in Germany and Italy as early as 1942. Baluzzo also expressed the opinion that some great power is launching discs to study them. The Bell UFO was among the first flying objects to be connected with the Nazis. It apparently had occult markings on it, and it was also rumored to have been very similar to a Wehrmacht document about vertical takeoff aircraft. It is directly related to the supposed crash of a bell-shaped object that occurred in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, USA on December 9, 1965. The same month, German engineer Rudolf Schriever gave an interview to German news magazine Der Spiegel in which he claimed that he had designed a craft powered by a circular plane of rotating turbine blades 49 feet in diameter. He said that the project had been developed by him and his team at BMW's Prague works until April 1945, when he fled Czechoslovakia. His designs for the disc and a model were stolen from his workshop in Bremerhaven Leh in 1948, and he was convinced that Czech agents had built his craft for a foreign power. In a separate interview with Der Spiegel in October 1952, he said that the plans were stolen from a farm he was hiding in near region on the 14th of May 1945. There are other discrepancies between the two interviews that add to the confusion. However, many skeptics have doubted that such a Bell UFO was actually designed or ever built. In 1953, when Avro Canada announced that it was developing the VZ-9AV Avrocar, a circular jet aircraft with an estimated speed of 1,500 miles per hour, German engineer Klein claimed that such designs had been developed during the Third Reich. Klein identified two types of supposed German flying discs: a non-rotating disc developed at Breslau by V-2 rocket engineer Richard Meave, which was captured by the Soviets, while Meave fled to the US via France and ended up working for Avro, a disc developed by Rudolf Schriever and Klaus Habermohl at Prague, which consisted of a ring of moving turbine blades around a fixed cockpit. Klein claimed that he had witnessed this craft's first manned flight on the 14th of February 1945, when it managed to climb to 4,700 feet in 3 minutes and attained a speed of 1,400 miles per hour in level flight.